As one of the nuns who care for women prisoners at Saint-Lazare, my duty was to stay with Mata Hari, no matter how difficult it proved to be. In May, when I began my ministration, she told me her world had fallen apart. She told me everyone had turned their back on her. I told her God had not forsaken her, and she looked at me with cruelty in her eyes. I have seen that look many times before. She was very ill at the beginning. Sometimes she shouted involuntarily and looked at me with anguish and said that no one had heard her. At these moments, I took her hands in mine and prayed for her. In June, she asked to see Captain Bouchardon. He said he would not improve conditions unless she revealed the names of other foreign spies. She said he couldn't make her tell him what she did not know. With a terrible lack of compassion, he told her he was going to make an example of her. It was a hot July, but the cell itself was cool when she returned from hearing the verdict. We sat together on her bed. Prison is a model of the soul. To find peace in such confinement is the search for love in dark places. In September, she requested a journalist friend of hers called Georges Deparc. He asked her if she had any regrets, and she said she would have liked to have known her daughter better. She hadn't seen her non since 1903, and it was only now she realized that she had missed her. He said he would. After the journalist left, the only thing she said the whole evening was, "Dreams are silver, sister, but memories are pure gold." The day before the execution was a Sunday. There are never executions on God's day of rest. She prattled all morning that her friends in high places would secure her release. Major Julian arrived and told her the president had refused to exercise clemency. She fell into a deep gloom. She desperately needed something to hold on to overcome the gravity of her soul. I requested she dance for me. At first, she did not believe I was in earnest. She eventually acquiesced. She stood and for several moments held a pose rather like a ballerina's. Then she twirled her arms up and down and gyrated her body round and round, opening her arms to heaven and then sinking down onto the hard floor. The prison was quiet that night. I've often observed this phenomenon and know the guards and other prisoners are keeping silent. At 4:45, Major Julian arrived and said, "Have courage, the hour of atonement has come." Two matrons helped her with her corset and pearl gray dress. She donned a long black coat and a tricorn hat without pins, in case she tried to damage herself. She turned to me and asked, "My hat becomes me, does it not?" Against my will, I began to cry. I reminded her that the Protestant minister was in attendance and urged her to make her peace with God. She smiled and said she would if it pleased me. He was sent for, and she was baptized. I could not control my weeping. When the ceremony was finished, the greffier came forward and asked if she had any declaration to make. She declared she was innocent and a victim of murder. The clerk said he would record it. Major Julian asked if she was ready. She looked at me and with great calmness said, "Don't fear, sister. I shall know how to die without weakness." Together, we left the cell, and she walked with her head held high into his arms.